So this is where I live. It's messy today, but gonna walk to class. But we're gonna fake walk to class. I don't have class on Mondays because I'm awesome. That's where I live. This is my life. 5 days a week. Well, 4 because I don't have Monday classes. But this is my life for the next 4 years. And in 1 year, you're going to be figuring out where you want to spend the next 4 years after that. And a year may seem like a long time, but the year of college search is going to be the quickest and most stressful year ever. That is something that I can promise to you.
And with just half of the sunburn, you yellow love that I earned. Step back and here comes the nighttime. Step back and here comes the nighttime. Daylight, we could hitchhike to Maine. I hope that someday I'll see without these frames. And in the daylight, I don't pick up my phone. 'Cause in the daylight, anywhere feels like home.
Shoulders cold, I've got to leave here before I go. I pull my shirt on, walk out the door, drag my feet along the floor. I pull my shirt on, walk out the door, drag my feet along the floor. Then I see you, you're walking across the campus, cool professor studying romances. How am I supposed to pretend I never want to see you again? How am I supposed to pretend I never want to see you again? Walk to class in front of ya, spilled coffee on your keffiyeh. You look inside and turn to the door, drag your feet along the floor. Then I see you, you're walking across the campus, cool professor studying romances. How am I supposed to pretend I never want to see?
My name is Becky.
Maggie.
My name is Joanna.
Megan.
Alright, I'm Will.
My major is Industrial and Labor Relations.
I'm in the hotel school.
I'm an International Agriculture and Rural Development major.
What's your major?
Electrical and computer engineering.
Animal science. No, because my brother's girlfriend told me about it and she was in the hotel school and she really liked it. And when I was trying to decide what I wanted to major in, I knew it was going to be something related to business. So when she was talking about the hotel school, I thought about how I liked hotels, and that's how it started.
Well, I've always been interested in social justice issues, and as I got more involved with volunteer work, I realized that the root of a lot of our problems are in labor, and I thought that this would be a good program to learn about it.
Always been interested in computing and electronics, and it's kind of been a hobby, so I decided it was a natural progression.
My dad does international work,
like actually at Cornell. So I've sort of grown up with it, and I didn't know exactly what I wanted to do, but it's a really rewarding field, and you travel a ton, and just help people do good things. I don't know, I guess. Like when I was looking at majors to apply, like going through all of them, I was like, oh god, what do I apply to at Cornell? I looked at it and I was like, oh, makes sense.
Well, I thought I wanted to be a vet, but then I started thinking about it, and then I don't want to be a vet anymore, so I actually want to change my major to business, but I have to be a student for a year, so I would think about that when applying. Maybe go undecided because it's kind of rough.
So for me, part of my college decision was like recruiting. Like I play soccer here, but I really loved like the campus and the people. And I'm from the area, and so I found that I was comparing everywhere else to Cornell. Like,
I chose Cornell because they have the best hotel school in the entire world.
Fantastic.
Tied kind of with Switzerland.
But shh,
But we don't talk about that.
Yeah, we don't talk about Switzerland.
We're
School.
perfect.
We're
We win.
perfect. Did you choose Cornell?
Because it's cold and in the middle of nowhere.
That's why you chose Cornell?
Yeah.
Because they accepted me. Because out of all the other colleges I applied to, it just had the best of everything. Like it's beautiful, and the diversity, and the programs.
I chose Cornell mainly because they have an industrial and labor relations program, which is very unusual. And also I got to know a lot about the school because my sister goes here, she's a senior, and it was sort of my picture of what college is.
College definitely is a lot of work, and it is stressful. So you have to really know how to balance your time wisely and not get behind in work.
Okay, well I guess I expected college to be more, not more structured necessarily, but like, I don't know, I just have so much freedom, and I guess I never thought about how much freedom I would have in college. There's a lot of it.
I went to a small school, and so I was really excited to go somewhere big. I was like, oh, this will be so many people who are like just like me. Like you have to remember that you are going to a place with lots of people, so like you're not gonna love everyone, but there are tons of people that are gonna be really, really great. And so like, I guess just like focus on the ones that are awesome, because there are lots of them around. It's just sometimes you have to look a little.
It's a lot less stressful, I think, than I expected.
Well, when I was looking at colleges, I didn't really think about the work that I would have to do. It was kind of like, what kind of campus do I want? What size of college do you want? And what programs are there? But there's a lot of homework.
Oh, what's it like living with a stranger?
It's interesting. I mean, just have to watch my back, make sure I don't wake up dead, but besides that.
Well, we actually live in singles, but we're in the same suite, which means we live with, each of us lives with 4 other people. And we really have a good time. We did. We met each other, which is great. We spend a lot of time together. All the time. But like at first, when you get to college and you don't really meet that many people, don't worry about it. Because it takes a while. Because we began to know each other, we didn't even talk to each other for the first like week. And now we're like this. Yeah. So it takes time. Like don't get discouraged if you're not like, I don't have a best friend like the first day.
Yes, don't panic.
Tell me, what's it like living with a stranger?
It's a yeah. I need to think of nice words.
No, I'm just kidding. It's really not that bad. You kind of go through like normal courtesy things when you're living with somebody else. And, I mean, I get along with my roommate. I like her. She's pretty great. I don't know. It's just really not that bad. You just kind of get used to like sharing your space with somebody else.
Roommate?
Living with a stranger, it's definitely like a new experience, because you suddenly have someone else who comes from a completely different background than you do, and overall it's a good thing. I mean, it makes you adjust, and it makes you have to interact with different groups of people you might not otherwise. Because you usually are going to make a different friend group than maybe your roommate will, or the kids down the hall, and it opens up new doors for you, I guess.
So what did you wish that you knew in high school that would have better prepared you for college?
I guess I wish I knew that people say that college is just like, as soon as you step on a campus, it's going to be like the best moment of your life, but it does take some getting used to, and I think that high schoolers should really know that so they don't get to college and it's not paradise immediately, that it will become eventually. Dancing is super fun. I love to dance.
That's totally going in the video. I love to dance.
That you don't need to worry about it anywhere near as much as everyone does. Like in high school, I was so stressed about like where I was going and what I was going to do, what I was going to like it, and where my friends were going. And then like when I was here, I was like, oh gosh, what am I going to do with my life? But you realize that everyone else is going through the exact same thing, and that everyone figures it out. Like everyone else has done the exact same stuff before you, and everyone else still has the same problems as you do. Like it all will work out.
I don't know if it would have better prepared me, but I kind of wish people would have stopped telling me like, oh, when you go to college, professors aren't going to care about this, and they're not going to care about that, and it's all on you. And they made it sound like a negative thing, and I think it's a positive thing, and so I kind of wish somebody would have told me that, like, it's not that scary coming to college.
Not much. I mean, having known that I could get out of freshman running seminar with big English credits would have been nice, but...
People judge you, and then...
Oh, you can't say that. Can you rephrase that, please?
People judge you and give you dirty looks.
And just different personality types. You're spending a lot of time together, so you need to be able to accept that maybe you're not someone's best friend, or even if you are, that you're going to accept if there's something that bothers you. You just have to deal with it because they live with you, and that's it.
And also sharing a shower.
Yeah.
You have to learn how to share and be like, oh, she usually takes a shower at this time. It's not wait. True. It's kind of rough sometimes.
But it's also really fun because how often, if you're lucky and you live with like your really close friends, like I'm sure most people haven't done that before, and it's really fun to just be able to walk into your friend's room and be like, this is what happened.
I think the relationships that last are the ones that you actually want to last, because you have to want them to last, and the other person has to want them to last. So in order for you both to kind of make schedules work and actually talk to each other, I text my friends and we like plan when we're gonna talk to each other, and then yeah, usually it's just between classes, sometime during the week, and it works out.
It's not actually as hard as I thought it would be. Like I had a lot of really close friends when I left high school, and it was like, suddenly a drastic change. Like, oh no, I don't have them here. But the relationships that matter are gonna maintain. Either you'll just naturally keep talking to each other. Like I talk to my sisters all the time, or like they're the friends where you just fall right back into line with each other when you see each other. Like when you're back on fall break, or come visit each other, or just you randomly think of them and you give them a phone call, and just things are exactly how they were. Like not all the friends from high school are gonna stick around forever, but you'll replace them with some really great ones in college.
My college search was a long and bitter struggle. My entire life, the only career aspirations I ever had were fairly unconventional. In second grade, I wanted to be an artist, which I know is very descriptive. And then I wanted to be a photographer, and then a writer, and then a chef, and then a writer again, and then a chef again. Then I wanted to be a filmmaker, then I wanted to be a writer again, and now here I am studying hotel administration, and I still think that I want to be a writer. But that's beside the point. I know that when I was trying to figure out what I wanted to do, where I wanted to go, which actually does start at the end of your junior year, I promise you, because when you realize that all the seniors are leaving, you go, oh my gosh, I'm a senior now. It's my turn to figure this all out, and you'll be like really passionate about it for like a month at the end of the year, and then you'll forget about it over the summer, and then you'll come back and go, oh shoot, I really wish that I had done more work with this. But I guess really the question is, how do you weed through what you want to do versus what you should do, and how do you find the best school for it, and more importantly, how do you get into that school? I took a career test my junior year, and I remember it telling me that I should be a domestic engineer, which, when I read the description, turned out to just be a nice way of saying, you should be a stay-at-home mom. And it made me laugh, but it also freaked me out, because I realized that I didn't really like conventional things. I liked cooking and entertaining, and I liked art and design and sophistication, and I remember thinking, I wish I could just major in being cultured. A lot of you know that I worked at Friendly's, mostly because I was a slave there, and probably waited on all of you at least once in my 2.5 years there. But one night I remember I was waiting on a lady that was alone, and she asked me about my college plans, because that's the type of creepy thing that single customers do in restaurants. And she told me that I had the charm and personality to be a flight attendant. And I went, oh great, flight attendant, that's just one step to the left of being a stay-at-home mom. And I told her that I hated heights, and she said I should look into majoring in anything hospitality related. And then she tipped me really well, so I took her advice, I looked into it. So the next day I went online and I searched hospitality degrees in Senora Pinter's room during my study hall, and lo and behold I ended up on the Cornell University webpage. And it seemed interesting enough, and nothing I was terribly committed to though. And porque también quería estudiar español durante aquel periodo. And that was the end of my junior year. So fast forward to August, and I had made some friends over the summer that all went to Kent State, and so naturally I was trying to find any possible way to rationalize to myself and to the world why I should go to Kent State. And it wasn't because Kent was a bad school, it was because I didn't want people to think I was only going there because my friends were going there. And so I started doing my research, and lo and behold, Kent State had a hospitality management program, and a very competitive one at that. So I was looking, and I went, oh, I can do a 5-year double major program that would let me graduate with a master's in Spanish and a master's in hospitality management in just 5 years. So at this point, I was 100% on going to Kent State and doing this, and I thought, this is so perfect, you know, I can do both of the things I want to do, I can go to Kent, I can be with my friends. But then I really started to think about it, and I realized, well, I shouldn't just apply to one college. That would be irresponsible. I should keep my options open. What if something happens with these friends? What if something falls through? What if we don't talk anymore, and then I'm stuck at Kent, and I decided that it isn't really where I wanted to be? So I did my research, and I remember laying in my living room on the floor one night in like November and freaking out about college, because that's what you do for the first couple months of high school year, senior year. And I ended up back on the Cornell University page, and I went, I should just apply here. And then I have like this other option. And at this time I was going, you know, I wanna get away from home, 6 hours away, that sounds perfect. I want time to myself. This is what college needs to be for me. And I told myself all these crazy things. So I applied to Cornell, which turned out to be a longer application than I expected. And then, so I had Cornell, so I was telling people like, oh, I applied to these 2 places, and I'm not sure where I'm going to go because they both have their perks. And then I realized that I had to do an interview for Cornell School of Hotel Administration. So I wrote up a little resume and a cover letter, and I put on my suit, and I went to the interview. And during this interview, I realized that Cornell had a ton to offer to me. And that was sort of like the point where I went, I'm not sold on Kent State, I'm actually going to consider this other option. Even though at that point I wasn't really sure if I was even going to get in, the acceptance rate was really competitive, I wasn't really that passionate about it at first because it was just something that I applied for on a whim. I almost felt like it wouldn't be fair if I got in versus other people who really wanted it. But the interview ended, I left, I went home, and then for the next 5 months stressed out about college because I had to wait to hear from Cornell before I can make a decision about Kent versus Cornell, and then I had to worry about financial aid packages and the timelines of the two different schools were like Kent State was a lot more accelerated than Cornell, so they kept sending me things like, we need to hear from you, we need to hear from you, are you going to come here or not? Meanwhile, I hadn't even heard from Cornell yet. So, ultimately, I got accepted to both places, and when I was weighing my options, I decided, obviously, to go to Cornell, because that's where I am speaking to you all from. And the reason I chose Cornell over Kent State is that at least the industry I'm going into, which is hospitality, which I'm slowly falling more and more in love with, it's very competitive, and it's also something that if you don't have the right education in it, you aren't going to get a job. Because I've always said, you know, I don't understand why people go to school to major in musical performance, because if you're good at it, you don't need a degree to say so. Like, it doesn't matter where you go to school, if you have a degree from Berkeley or if you have a degree from Tri-C, if you're a better singer, you're going to get the job, you're going to get the role. But this is a little different. This is something where Cornell is the best in the world for it. So, if you have Cornell on a piece of paper that says you graduated, it's going to look a whole lot more impressive to somebody than the piece of paper from Kent State that says you graduated with a degree in hospitality. And I think that's ultimately what helped me make my decision to come to Cornell, and because, well, here, side thought. Everybody told me when I got accepted to Cornell, like, they assumed that meant I was going there. And that really bothered me, and that really annoyed me, because I wasn't sold on either school. I still had to weigh my options out, and people told me, you're going to Cornell, you're going to Cornell. And I was like, maybe I'm going to Cornell. And that's really important. Don't let other people make your decision on college for you, because ultimately it's where you have to be for the next 4 years, and your major is what you have to do for the rest of your life after those 4 years. So, just start looking now, because I wish I had started looking more during my junior year than waiting until the end of my senior year, because who knows where I could have been. Could have been in California. But anyway, it's really cold today. That's why I'm thinking about California. I don't know. I guess what I'm really trying to tell you all is that it's never too soon to start looking. And I know that just sounds like one of the really cliched things that all the guidance counselors tell you, but this is me in college as a freshman going, if I had started looking earlier, things could be so different. Because there are also so many other options like early decision, early enrollment, blah, 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 that if you're on top of your game, you can take advantage of. But since I sort of dragged my feet and applied the last day for both colleges to apply, I didn't get to take advantage of those. There are a lot of programs at Cornell, like summer college that they offer, or come and be hosted by a current student, spend a day here and see what it's really like. I missed out on all those opportunities because I wasn't actively pursuing a college, and that's what I really encourage you to do. Figure out what you want to do. If you don't know what you want to do, it's okay to go undecided, but have a couple ideas. Go, do your research, find your dream school. Find it, find it, find it. Because once you, attach to it, you're just going to love it. And I've always thought if you think you like where you are, you'll like where you are. Or if you think you like what you're doing, you'll like what you're doing. And it's true. So if you have the mindset that, oh my gosh, Toledo is the school for me, I want to go into pharmacy, and it's got this great program, and I like where it is, and blah, 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 and you tell yourself all these things, you'll believe all these things. So find a school, fall in love with it, chase after it, figure out what you need to do to get in there, and then do it. Go get it, live it, love it, because college is a ton of fun. I promise.